Radio Network. Here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today the Padres take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in the second game of a four-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the D-backs, left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez, and for the Padres, right-hander Randy Vasquez. Hi, good everybody. Sam Levitt with you from inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up in Phoenix, Arizona at Chase Field at 6:40 p.m. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. As always, we'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stamon. We'll hear from two of the newest Padres. Tomorrow's starting pitcher, right-hander Casey Mize, and new Padre infielder Gage Workman. And we check in with Tony Gwynn Jr. in just a little bit. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres entered today 58-55. The D-backs are 60-53. Padres trailing Arizona and the Phillies by 2 games in the National League wildcard race. Those two teams have the same record and occupy the final 2 wildcard spots. Padres now 3-4 against Arizona this year. Still 6 games remaining between the two teams. Padres have won 8 out of their last 10. D-backs have won 5 of their last 6. Arizona 15-6 in their last 21 games, the second best record in the majors in that span. Well, after a big trade deadline day, we had the series opener last night in Arizona. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Our starting pitching matchup last night, Michael King against Brandon Pfaadt. They were each throwing up zeros early on, but they were doing it in different ways. Pfaadt allowed just a couple of singles through the first 3.5 innings, only 40 pitches through 4 scoreless innings. Meanwhile, Michael King, he had to work really hard. He had already thrown 60 pitches through 3 scoreless innings. We had a 0-0 game going to the bottom half of the 4th. King issued a leadoff walk to Ketel Marte. Adrian Del Castillo hit a 1-out single. That put 2 on base for Tim Tawa.
First pitch is launched in the air deep down the left field line. This one is way back and gone over the Diamondback bullpen. And Tawa, who hit a grand slam against the Padres in Mexico City, it's a 3-run homer here, and Arizona's got the first 3 runs of the night.
D-backs led 3-0 through 4. King would pitch into the 6th inning. Pfaadt cruising into the 7th inning. Padres still down 3-0. Pfaadt issued a 1-out walk to Ty France. Luis Rengifo singled to put runners on first and second with 2 men away. Luis Campusano was next.
And Campusano swings, hits it on the ground to the left side. Arenado has it in front of Perdomo, spins, throws to first, it gets away from Tawa. France will come in to score. Padres are on the board, it's 3-1.
That was it for Pfaadt. He came out. Right-hander Juan Murillo came in with runners on first and third. He struck out Xander Bogaerts to end the innings. The Padres getting a run in that 7th inning, but that was it. Wandy Peralta entered in the bottom of the 8th inning, trying to keep it a 2-run deficit. Nolan Arenado hit a leadoff single after a sac bunt. Tawa hit an infield single. That put runners on first and third for James McCann.
Infield's back, the 0-1 pitch. McCann hits it on a line into left field and a base hit. Arenado will come in to score as that rolls all the way to the wall. Tawa's at third, he'll be held. It's an RBI double for James McCann, and the Diamondbacks have added on. It's 4-1.
Jorge Barosa then plated another run with a sac fly. D-backs led 5-1, and that would be our final score yesterday. In the series opener, Padres had just 3 at-bats with runners in scoring position, and the Padres losing the opening game of the 4-game set against the D-backs. As we get ready for this one with first pitch coming up at 6:40, Padres trying to bounce back with Randy Vasquez on the mound today. Let's go to Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Tony, before we focus on the particulars of tonight's game, just to revisit yesterday's game for a moment. I said in the post game yesterday that I thought it was a good reminder last night's game that despite the Padres doing a lot of good things at the trade deadline and the help that is arriving as we speak, yesterday a good reminder that the Padres offense is still going to have to perform and continue to hit. Yesterday to you, was it more about Brandon Pfaadt, what he did, what the Padres offense did, or maybe a little bit of both?
Well, it was about Brandon Pfaadt, but that doesn't matter. Honestly, you're going to face elite pitching, and I don't even know that Brandon falls into that category, but that's the type of pitching you're going to see in the postseason. And you're going to have to overcome, the good pitching, and that's part of the job for this offense. Brandon Pfaadt was good. Don't get me wrong. He threw the ball very well yesterday, but that's going to be what they're facing, as they move forward and they hope to get into the postseason. You're going to have to find ways to do more than what they did last night. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. As much as yesterday was nice that the Padres were able to kind of address some needs, it still doesn't, move away from the fact that the offense is going to have to still remain a huge part of this if the Padres are going to find their way in the postseason and make a deep run. Yeah,
totally agree with you. Let's talk about Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for Arizona tonight. He's in the midst of a really nice season, Tony. He's throwing the ball really well. 2.48 ERA and 22 starts coming in. A guy the Padres have seen before, a guy the Padres have hit before. How do the Padres hit Eduardo Rodriguez here tonight?
Again, this is, at least by the way he's thrown the baseball this year, this is one of those elite guys that you're going to face, right? And so, yes, the Padres have some guys in the lineup today that have had success. Obviously, I think Toddy got him twice. I think Bogey got him. I think Manny got him in the last time they saw Eduardo. But this is a very different pitcher. He's using his stuff and commanding his stuff better. The fastball, it's not overpowering, but when you're locating, especially the changeup that he's using right now, very effective. And so the Padres have their hands full tonight as they try to get a victory in this 4-game set.
Randy Vasquez making the start today. He was terrific last week in relief. 4 2/3 scoreless innings against the Giants. Randy's been pretty good last 4 outings or so, whether it's been in a starting role or out of the bullpen. What will you be looking for from Randy Vasquez in this one?
Command. When Randy's throwing strikes. And listen, it's not just command. It's because command for Randy can mean a couple different things, right? Like he has his days where he's walking guys, and that's obviously falls into command's category. But he also has had some days where he's just catching far too much plate and has paid the price for it. And so command for him can mean, not being in the zone too much or just finding the edges a little bit better. And I think that is the thing we'll be paying attention to, right? His last start was out of kind of in that pitching chaos scenario. Tonight, he's going out as a starter. And I think, remember, they went away from that because he was struggling in coming out as a starter. So I think all eyes are on Randy and how he comes out today. Typically, when Randy starts the game well, that kind of is the indicator of how he's going to pitch the rest of the game.
Tony, let's finish up with this. We've talked, obviously, in the last 24 hours a lot about the Padres trade deadline. The Diamondbacks added Lars Nootbaar, who will make his Diamondback debut here tonight, DHing and batting sixth. That was pretty much the only move they made. This is an interesting Arizona team, I think, Tony, because they're playing well. They did add Nootbaar. I think there was a feeling in Phoenix like they should have done more. They do have a lot of pitching on the IL that is supposedly coming back within the next couple of months. Your feel on the Diamondbacks, who they are, and what's going on in Arizona right now as the Padres chase them?
That may be why they didn't move the way that many people thought they should. Yeah. They have pieces coming up. I believe Justin Martinez is coming off the IL at some point here relatively soon. And that's a big-time back-end arm that you're going to get and be able to use. And so we're going to see. I think all of these teams that were in it or that have in it had to make a decision. Because I don't know that there was a scenario in which they could, I don't know, kind of buy. I mean, they got no new bar. I think it's a good piece. Padres were rumored in on him at some points yesterday. But, their offense has been good enough. It's really been their pitching that they've had to worry about. And when they get these arms back, if they get these arms back, there's certainly going to be a team you got to deal with because their offense is really humming.
Tony, good insight as always. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at 6:30. Thanks so much.
No problem.
All right, Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on this Tuesday evening. When we come back, we'll take our first look at the Padres lineup here today. We'll hear from Padre manager Craig Stamon, not just on tonight's game and the new acquisitions, but we're also going to hear from Craig on what was one of the stories of today. That was Nick Pivetta in his rehab start at Lake Elsinore, walking off the mound mid-inning in his first inning of work. It didn't look great. I will tell you, in case you haven't heard, the news is more positive than how that looks. So we'll hear from Craig Stamon when we come back. We'll also hear from Casey Mize, who will make his Padres debut on the mound tomorrow. We'll hear from Gage Workman, who will be available off the bench for his Padres debut here today. Much, much more to do as we get ready for Game 2 of this 4-game series coming up in the desert on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 6:40 in Arizona for Game 2 of this 4-game series between the Padres and the Diamondbacks. As always, our pregame coverage brought to you by EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. That's 760-350-3338. A look at the Padres lineup here today as they face the very talented Diamondback left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez leading off Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field. He's followed by Luis Rengifo, the DH, batting second. Manny Machado at third base batting third. Ty France at first base batting cleanup. Jackson Merrill in center field batting fifth. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting sixth. Freddie Fermin behind the plate today batting seventh. Batting eighth, Jake Cronenworth at second base. And Jace Bowen getting the start against the left-hander in left field and batting ninth with, again, right-hander Randy Vasquez on the hill today in Arizona. Well, before we hear from Craig Stamon, I do want to, in case you're just joining us, and this was going on around, 11 a.m. this morning, noon today. Well, it was an interesting scenario in Lake Elsinore today. I'll tell you what, it was just on the outset, it was kind of a fascinating game, minor league game, California League game at Lake Elsinore today because Joe Musgrove started the game in his rehab assignment. You then had Tyler Glasnow on the other side for the Ontario team, the low A team of the Dodgers. He was on a rehab assignment. And then after Joe came out, Nick Pivetta came into the game on his rehab assignment. Now, Pivetta in the first inning, he threw a two-strike pitch that, if it was called strike three, would have been the final out of the inning. After he threw the pitch, he walked off the mound. He sort of paused for a second, but then ultimately, alongside, I believe, a member of the training staff, the Padres training staff that was in Lake Elsinore, he walked off the mound into the dugout and went behind the dugout. I'm not sure exactly what the logistics are there at Lake Elsinore. I don't believe they can get to the clubhouse through the dugout, but I don't know if there's batting cages back there. I won't pretend to know. But he went into the dugout, he walked off the field, and the inning wasn't over. So a rehab outing that, supposedly was supposed to, I would assume be somewhere in the Joe Musgrove territory of what he did, 3 up downs. Joe ended up throwing 39 pitches. Well, Pivetta threw a pitch, walked off, went in the dugout, and we didn't see him again. I don't know about you, but in my time of watching baseball, when you see a guy just walk off the mound looking not happy and frustrated, typically doesn't mean they did that for something good. Let's go to Arizona. We're going to hear from Craig Stamon on Casey Mize arriving and Gage Workman arriving to the clubhouse today, and we'll hear some interesting information on what did go down with Nick Pivetta in Lake Elsinore earlier today.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stamon. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Craig, you got a couple new faces in the clubhouse. How good does it feel to have some reinforcements arrive?
Yeah, it's always nice to improve your roster, and like AJ says, we're here to try to win, and adding those guys is part of that process.
What will Gage be able to bring for you guys?
He's got a ton of defensive versatility, but probably most important is his left-handed bat. Coming off the bench and be able to spot start. So he's performed really well in AAA. We'll see if he can do it here in the big leagues for us.
Have you guys come up with any kind of a timetable yet of when we might see the new pitchers that you have?
Casey's going to start tomorrow, and then Robbie, once he gets here, we've got him scheduled for first game back in San Diego on Friday.
Randy threw really well in his last outing, back end of that game against the Giants. Anything that you saw differently in that outing and that he can bring into today?
Randy has pitched really good at times this year and then struggled a little bit. I think he's kind of had an ability here lately to kind of catch his breath and get back to who he is. And I think sometimes when you come out of the pen, you get in a little bit more of attack mode, and that allows you to find your stuff a little bit better and have success. And, that's what we're looking for tonight.
Got it. So you just take that attack mode into being a starter now. Is that something you talked to him about, or how do you sort of try to instill that?
Yeah, we talked to him about it, and I think part of it is like he saw success, and now let's try to duplicate it, on his own, and we just encourage him and tell him how great he did the time before and what worked well and what didn't work well, and then, how do you take that to the next game?
I think Levitt and Joe Musgrove were scheduled to throw today. What kind of updates can you give? We saw the box scores, but what can you add?
Yeah, Joe came out of the outing really good. First game back in a long time, so a little bit of rust, but also, was able to do what he wanted to do and accomplish pitches-wise. Nick's was went a little bit differently. We all saw him walk off the mound. Looks like he felt a little bit of tightness in his elbow, but then he was also able to catch his breath and then go throw 30 pitches underneath the stadium in the batting cage. So, take that for what it's worth. We'll find out how Nick feels tomorrow. Same with Joe. Find out how they feel tomorrow, and then reassess and then go on from there.
I guess that's kind of the big test tomorrow, because both of them pushed it a little bit more adrenaline and everything being actually in the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you're testing them every single time. That's why when we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, hey, they're throwing a bullpen, it's to temper the excitement a little bit, because there's a lot of boxes to check before they're, back pitching in the big leagues.
Nick, he felt something in his elbow, what specifically?
Yeah, just tightness in his elbow, and I think he was just at a point where maybe scared, maybe worried, maybe hurt. We don't know. We'll find out. He threw the bullpen afterwards, which is a little ironic. That's not a typical happen on your first rehab start. So I think the key is we really just got to see how he wakes up and feels tomorrow, and then go from there. But walking off the field, you think, all right, he's done. That's it, and that's just not the case.
The bullpen, as far as you know, is it just another inning type thing, or
they said he threw in between 20 and 30 pitches as hard as he possibly could, all pitches, and he felt no pain.
What?
All pitches.
All pitches, got it. Thank you. Whatever situation with him or with Joe moving forward, the reinforcements that you did add at the deadline, how obviously key is it now that you have kind of a bulk of starting pitchers?
Yeah, I think that was the reasoning behind what AJ did and to add to our team with the 2 starting pitchers was we don't really know what Joe and Nick will be able to provide. We hope, that they're Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta that we've watched for a long time, but, it's just hard to predict what could happen from a rehab process at that early of a stage.
What's your understanding of where Casey is health-wise? He's had a couple of recent IL stints, obviously he's off now, but just where he is overall.
Yeah, I think right now he's ready to rock and roll. All systems going forward, and our medical staff's checking him out. They've been in contact with Detroit's medical staff. They know all the issues and how to take care of him, and maybe we have a few other practices that we may want to try and help him get through these starts and help him feel better, and that where he's peaking as the season goes on.
That was Padres manager Craig Stamon earlier today inside the Padres dugout. We'll hear more from Craig coming up on our post-game coverage later on this evening after this one is over. Sam Levitt back with you inside our San Diego studio. So you heard the update there from Craig on Nick Pivetta. So he apparently, after he walked off the mound, went underneath the dugout, however it's set up there, and in the batting cage and threw, somewhere between 20, 30 more pitches, apparently at, full tilt, going hard at him. And, apparently that is what we know right now, and sounds like they will reassess where he's at tomorrow and moving forward. So I suppose good news to hear that he did go and throw some more pitches, and, it wasn't a situation where he was just off the mound and done and it's over and something's terribly wrong. We'll see what the assessment is in the days to come. First pitch coming up at 6:40 in Arizona. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to step up their game? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not. Presented by ASAP Drain Guys and Plumbing, a division of Anderson Commercial, your full-service plumber serving San Diego County.
We take a look at the hot category. Jackson Merrill in that category today. His last 15 games, Jackson batting .386 with 9 extra base hits and 14 RBIs. The not category, Gavin Sheets just 6 for his last 53, as we've discussed at length. Gavin has really struggled as of late, not in the lineup against the left-hander here today. Manny Machado, all of a sudden, he's only 1 for 19 in 5 games. In his last 5 games, he had hit .326 with a 10-29 OPS in his prior 33 games, but again, just a 1 for 19 in his last 5. And that's a quick look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for Game 2 of this 4-game series against the D-backs. Let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotels Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
We take a look at some headlines from around the major leagues. The Yankees calling up their top prospect, George Lombard Jr., earlier today, making his major league debut. And guess what? He hit a home run already in that game at Yankee Stadium. His first major league hit. He became the fourth youngest New York Yankees infielder to a homer in a game at 20 years of age. So kind of cool moment there for Lombard, and we'll talk more about that game coming up in the out-of-town scoreboard later. Mariners released veteran catcher Mitch Garver and outfielder Rob Refsnyder among a flurry of roster moves earlier today. They activated right-hander Sir Anthony Dominguez and outfielder Taylor Ward, both who they acquired before yesterday's trade deadline. And finally, Nationals putting James Wood on the IL earlier today after he suffered a left oblique strain in last night's game against the Philadelphia Phillies. And that's a quick look at some of the headlines from around the major leagues. When we come back, we'll hear from Gage Workman, new Padres infielder, and Casey Mize, who will make his Padres debut on the mound tomorrow. Both those guys coming over in the trade with the Tigers yesterday. We'll also, and I haven't got to this yet, we'll also give you the roster move as to how those guys were activated, who the Padres had to remove from the 26-man roster. We did not get to that yet. So we'll hear from those guys, get to the roster move, and much, much more when we come back on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch is coming your way at 6:40. We send things out to Jesse and Tony in just about 20 minutes. Another big game in Arizona, game 2 of this 4-game series. Randy Vasquez on the mound for the Padres, and it is left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for Arizona. We'll hear from Casey Mize and Gage Workman, the two newest Padres, coming up in just a little bit. Just so you know, the corresponding moves today to add Mize and Workman to the 26-man roster. Padres optioning left-hander J.P. Sears and catcher Rodolfo Duran to AAA El Paso. So Duran and Sears going down, and Mize and Workman, after yesterday's trade from Detroit, they are activated. Let's take a quick look at today's injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at BadaFulkerson.com.
Well, we talked about the rehab outings earlier from Pivetta and Musgrove and got the updates there, so we'll leave that for now. David Morgan is still on the IL with left knee inflammation. He has resumed his rehab stint with AAA El Paso. Other guys still on the IL, significant guys. Jason Adam still on the IL with the right shoulder strain. Samad Taylor still working on the right oblique strain. You got Miguel Andujar on the IL with the right wrist fracture. And as we get updates on those guys, including Lucas Giolito, who's on the IL with elbow inflammation, we will continue to keep you posted. But obviously the biggest injury-related news of the day, Musgrove and Pivetta, those rehab outings at Lake Elsinore earlier today, and you got the info on Musgrove. Went well. Pivetta, bit of a mixed bag, as we know, with him coming off the mound, but apparently throwing pitches in the batting cage afterwards and feeling a little bit of elbow tightness. So we're going to see what the updates are in the days to come on Nick Pivetta, and hopefully good news, good recovery for Joe Musgrove as well. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Couple of finals already today. Phillies blanked the Nationals 5-0 in Philadelphia. Orioles beat the Angels 3-1 in Baltimore. A lot of games going on right now. Reds ahead of the A's 5-4 in Cincinnati in the 9th inning. Mets lead the Guardians 6-2 in the 9th inning in Cleveland. Yankees leading the Cardinals 2-0 in the 8th inning in New York. In Boston, Red Sox 9, White Sox 2. They're in the 6th. Braves over the Marlins 3-0 in Atlanta in the 8th inning. Royals lead the Twins 2-1 in Kansas City in the 5th inning. Brewers lead the Pirates 4-2 in Milwaukee in the 5th inning. Dodgers and the Cubs tied at 1 in the 5th inning in Chicago. Rangers lead the Giants 2-0 in Arlington in the 4th. Blue Jays and Astros are scoreless in the 4th inning in Houston. Rays and the Rockies tied at 1 in the 3rd in Colorado. And one game yet to begin aside from this one, Tigers and the Mariners at 6:40. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Tuesday. We'll have much more on all those games coming up a little bit later during our post-game coverage. Well, let's hear what some of the newest Padres had to say inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Guys showing up and joining the ball club. Let's begin with Gage Workman, who came over in the trade from Detroit. He will be available off the Padres bench, an infielder, versatile infielder who can play a number of different positions. Here was Gage Workman earlier today with reporters.
I'm excited to be a Padre. Yeah, it's been fast but exciting.
Yeah, were you expecting the change?
I wasn't. I thought the deadline was over actually, so it was a surprise to me.
Really? What's it like when you get to a new ball club? What's the toughest transition for you?
This is my third time now, so I think it's just kind of meeting the guys, just kind of getting the good feel of the clubhouse and seeing new faces, learning names is really it.
Yeah. Do you know anybody here already?
Just Casey. Just Casey's the only one, actually. Jim McHugh, actually, front office.
Oh, that's right.
Front office guys. Good dude.
What have the last 24 hours been like? Like getting here?
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like find out the news, get packed up, move everything, and get to Arizona. Luckily, I'm from here, so it was just coming home for me, so it's kind of nice.
Have you had enough time to kind of talk with coaching staff, figure out what your role is, understand kind of how you're going to fit here? Yeah,
I've talked to the coaching staff, but I'd say pretty introductory, just kind of meeting them and trying to put names to faces, and they kind of said, go play. So however the team uses me, I'll be ready for that role.
You were, in a playoff race there. You're coming to a playoff race here. What do you kind of make of how this team is set up going forward?
Yeah, like you said, they're right in it. I think I checked yesterday, and I think they're one out of the wild card. So, yeah, they're right in the mix, and just excited to be part of that, and hopefully help this team move forward.
Got all the signs down.
we're practicing them. Yeah, so it seems like I have great people in my corner to help me out with them.
Yeah, seriously, does that take a little while to sort of get used to that?
Yeah, they're definitely different than what you use at every team you're with. So I don't think it's anything too crazy. It shouldn't be too mind-blowing to get them done.
How is it, though, working with a whole new staff in terms of hitting coaches and all that kind of stuff, and field coaches and everything goes on?
I think it's kind of exciting, kind of get new eyes on you and see what they see and be able to talk through what I'm seeing and just kind of start working together and formulating the plan.
To that point, do you talk to the pitching side also, sort of to see what is the game plan against you and try to learn that side also?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've done in the past. Just have them do a mock game plan against me if they're going to face me that day, and see how a pitcher might come at me, especially if they have like similar repertoires of pitches. So that's something that's been done.
Yeah. Have you had any surprises when you've gone through one of those exercises in terms of, wow, I had no idea that's how they kind of viewed you?
I'd say maybe when I was like a young player, first in pro ball. But I feel like over the years I kind of learn yourself a little bit, and nothing too crazy pops out at you.
All right, that is Gage Workman, the newest Padres infielder, available off the bench here today. Workman in a grand total of only 38 at-bats. So with the Tigers this year, didn't swing the bat all that well, did hit a couple of home runs, which is good to see, and he's somebody who can play a variety of defensive positions on the infield, so that's certainly valuable as well. We'll hear from Casey Mize coming up in just a little bit. Right now, let's give you our keys to tonight's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Rock and Block Turf and Hardscapes. Beautiful artificial turf that stays green all year long. Trust and experience. The job isn't done until it's done right. See them at rockandblocklandscape.com.
Key number one, don't let McCann mash. Talking about James McCann, the Diamondback catcher, getting another start here tonight with Gabriel Moreno on the paternity list. McCann has a hit in 9 consecutive games. That is also including a little run here where he's driven in at least 1 run in 7 straight games, 13 RBIs total. McCann has been swinging the bat really well lately towards the bottom of that Diamondback lineup, so don't forget about him. That's key number 1. Key number 2, find a way against Erod. Eduardo Rodriguez, the D-back left-hander, is having a great year. 10-3 with a 2.48 ERA, 22 starts, 130-plus innings. He's not a big strikeout guy, as you know. 88 strikeouts on the season. Now, Rodriguez coming off arguably his best start of the year Wednesday in Pittsburgh. He blanked the Pirates over 8 innings, gave up just 5 singles on a season-high 105 pitches. Rodriguez has allowed 2 or fewer runs in 11 of 13 starts since mid-May. Now, he was roughed up by the Padres twice last year, allowing 9 runs and 5 home runs in 10-plus innings in those 2 outings. Fernando Tatis Jr. homered in both games against Rodriguez last season, just so you know. Key number 3, a very good Vasquez. Randy Vasquez will start today. He was terrific last week in relief, 4 2/3 scoreless innings against the Giants on Thursday. It's been a very up-and-down campaign for Randy, but that was a promising sign what he did in relief on Thursday. Can Randy Vasquez follow that up with a nice start here today? He's not going to be asked to go 6-7 innings in all likelihood, but can he give you at least a few innings and get you rolling here tonight? We're going to find out. That's a look at our keys to today's game. When we come back, we hear from the newest Padre, Casey Mize, who will make the start tomorrow. Robbie Ray starting on Friday back at home against the Astros, but Casey Mize on the mound tomorrow for the Padres. We hear from the former Detroit Tiger, now in the brown and gold, when we return. Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming your way at 6:40. We send things out to Jesse and Tony in 7 minutes. We'll hear from one of the newest Padres pitchers, Casey Mize, in just a moment. But right now, let's tell you what to watch for in tonight's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for in today's game? How about the Diamondback debut for Lars Nootbaar? He will DH today. We've spent so much time talking about the Padres' new additions, and I might see Workman tonight off the bench. Certainly we'll see Casey Mize tomorrow. But remember, D-backs also acquired Lars Nootbaar from the St. Louis Cardinals yesterday, and they expect him to be a major part of their lineup now. He's played only 48 games with the Cardinals this season after recovering from off-season surgery on both heels. He's hit only .234 with 3 home runs, 16 RBIs in those 48 games. So what to watch for in tonight's game? Can the Padres prevent Nootbaar from having a big impact in his Diamondback debut? You got to think he'll be motivated to do some good things in his debut with a brand new ball club. Well, Casey Mize, the right-hander, will make his Padres debut tomorrow. He did speak with reporters inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today, so even though he's starting tomorrow, let's hear a little bit of that today. Here was Casey Mize. Casey, how does it feel to be a San Diego Padre?
Feels very good. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here, chasing a championship, and got a really good group here, so I'm excited to be a part of it.
It probably wasn't much of a surprise you to get traded, or were you anticipating it?
We were kind of up in the air. After the Scooble trade, I thought it would be more likely, and then the clock just kept ticking, and I was like, I don't know, and then at the very last second it happened. So I was pretty much 50-50. I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but excited with how it turned out.
Were there certain teams that you were kind of peeking at if you were going to get traded? Where were the Padres ranking on that?
Yeah, I kind of cast a wide net of teams that were kind of interested. There were quite a few. And as the day went on, the teams kind of kept dwindling to a few, and so I knew the Padres were a part of that. And so when I got the call that it was here, I was certainly happy about it. So, yeah.
You've been with one organization your whole career. What's it like to leave that? It probably makes feelings out of imagine at this point.
Yeah, certainly. It was a pretty emotional day all the way around. Been with Detroit for 8 years, met so many special people there and people that have changed my life and my career. So it wasn't like I was trying to get out of there or anything. That place means a lot to me. It's really special, and certainly sad to leave, but I couldn't be more excited and happy for this opportunity, and landed in a great situation. So like I said, mixed emotions, but I'm happy with how everything turned out.
Does it help that you've been throwing the ball really well to know you can come over here and be a difference maker right away?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to be wanted, and then, if I can provide some value and help this team push towards its goals, that's what I'm here to do, so all that feels good. Now I just, look forward to getting out there and doing that.
I don't know how any of us could relate to that swing of emotions. Mm-hmm. What is that like in, I guess, less than 24 hours? Yeah.
It's exhausting. It's your mind goes to so many different places. And it's just, you have to say goodbye to so many people that you really care about, but you also get to meet so many new people that now care about you. And so you get to create new relationships and new experiences and new memories, and get to compete and do your best for another team, another organization, which I take a ton of pride in. So I look forward to doing that. So it's, it was all over the place, but, I'm going to settle in now and, get familiar with the San Diego Padres and build those relationships like I did in Detroit.
You getting that last start off, how did that come about? Was that something that you knew for a few days, or that day? Or?
AJ Hinch, met with me at the hotel the night before the start. I went and played catch and did my normal routine that day in preparation for the start on Friday. And AJ met with me on Thursday night, I believe it was, and just said, Scott Harris, the president of the Tigers, made the decision for me to not pitch, and I didn't, and just prepare for Tuesday against Seattle if you don't get traded, and I got moved, so that's kind of how it came about.
That was Casey Mize inside the Padres clubhouse. He did have a little bit more there with reporters. Might hear more of that tomorrow on our pregame coverage. But first things first, Padres and the Diamondbacks in Game 2 of this 4-game series coming your way. As always, we appreciate you tuning in to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. When we come back, we send things out to the desert. Jesse and Tony standing by, ready to go. I'll talk to you on our postgame coverage on the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.